Consult, orchestrating technology to move business forward.
Hello everyone, welcome to NT Talks. I'm Marcelo Cerebelli, General Manager for NT Consult here in North America. And today at NT Talks, welcome André Bossard, a Digital Adoption Manager with an international career in the financial sector, operating at the intersection of technology, business, and client experience in highly complex environments. Throughout this conversation, we'll explore how digitalization is transforming private banking, from the evolution of platforms to the challenge of connecting technology to real client needs. We'll also discuss how product decisions, digital adoption, and architecture directly impact efficiency, trust, and business outcomes. André, welcome to NT Talks.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, so glad. So, after helping Dell set up their production facilities in Latin America, you moved to Switzerland, where you started your journey in banking, working with a highly manual and disconnected systems. In some cases, not even internet-based. What did those processes look like in practice, and what made them unsustainable over time?
Yes, so I moved to Switzerland back in 2003, after working for 5 years at Dell in Brazil. Was the first person hired at the IT department at Dell in Brazil when the plant they opened in the south of Brazil was still a project. And my first banking experience here in Switzerland, I was hired by a large international bank that was working with the international trade of commodities. And I was hired to migrate their clients from like a standalone solution that was like local client installed on the computers to a web-based solution. So this was very, very old style. So with the way the system worked, early in the morning, the client were connecting using an 0800 phone number to download the account statements to the system. Based on this information, the clients will create the transactions they had to create, validate these transactions, and once everything was ready, they will reconnect via modem, so very, very last century.
So all batch processing.
Yes, and transfer the transactions duly signed and validated on their sides to be executed by the bank. So this bank at the time was one of the biggest players on the international commodities trading in the world. At the time when I joined, like on my induction, that's what really surprised me. They said like 80% of the oil traded in the world was traded here in Geneva, in Switzerland, where I'm living, and half of that was traded by that bank. So it was quite impressive, the volumes and the numbers. I mean, for someone that come from Brazil to this kind of market, everything it's so big, so different from everything we were used. So it was completely manual or very, very offline, and the challenge was to migrate clients to an online-based solution that was developed by the bank in Paris.
So you were directly involved in this, migrating the clients to this online banking platforms. From a business perspective, what were the biggest barriers for this transition? Was it technology, internal culture, client behavior?
Was a little bit of everything. So I mean, this bank, they had clients in nearly every country where you have the commodity extraction and trading. Most of the clients were based in Russia. So was the first barrier I had was the language barrier, because a good number of clients, some of them was these like large oligarchs, very, very known people. They barely speak English. So you need to go there, and then you're going to be interacting with them, of course. They'll have like a translator in some cases. And then you need to interact with their IT. The IT, it was easier to talk to them because we're talking the same language. But then I have to train the employees of the company on how to use the system, how to behave, and then teach them how to use behave with security online, what was the good practice. In most of the cases, they were not used to do that at the time. So everything was brand new for them. And in some cases, even the client IT infrastructure was very, very archaic. So it was complicated.
And looking back then, what were the key lessons from this early stage of digital transformation that is still relevant today for a financial institution?
What is a good one? So at the time, the main or the key point I had to transmit to the client was to trust the system, because the clients were saying, well, we're using an offline solution. Everything is in my computer. We're not connected to anywhere. But if I go to the internet, they're going to steal my money. So, and some of these clients, they don't even really understood how internet worked. So I had to reassure them on how these things or how these technologies work. Good practice. We had already then a two-factor authentication, strong encryption. And in the end, I mean, these clients, they had no choice in the end. They had to be migrated. Or I mean, if they don't want to use the new online-based solution, they had to stop doing business with the bank. So, I mean, you need to reassure them that the solution is safe and it's the best option for them. I mean, it's more dynamic than receiving information once a day. So they had real-time information. The execution of the payments was faster as well. So I had to sell the solution, I mean, presenting the advantages of it for them. So
showing what was the key value for them
absolutely.
on the
Yes.
transformation that was driven from the efficiency from the bank, but also what was in it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when you started your career, there were no digital platforms in place, as we were talking about here. So what does it take to build a digital banking platform from the ground up in a private bank environment? Is there anything in particular about this market?
Yes, so this was my second and current professional experience. So on this previous bank I was working, as I said, that they had clients everywhere in the world. I was spending like at least 3 weeks a month traveling, and I was traveling a lot. I can say it was really a lot. Sometimes to very nice places, sometimes to places that were quite dangerous. I visited 43 different countries in these 4.5 years I worked for that bank. In some countries like Russia, that was the main country for the business we had, I spent more than 6 months in these 4.5 years. So 2 weeks here, 1 week there. But then my family started to grow up. My first daughter was born, and then I decided to stop traveling. Decided that I had to find something else to do, and I found an opportunity at a private bank here in Geneva. That's the bank where I'm still working today. So I joined them in 2007 to work in a team that was called Wealth Intermediaries and Corporate. So they were dealing with very, very complex and sophisticated clients, but they didn't have an online banking solution yet. That we had to start developing it from scratch. So the first big challenge was to understand the client's needs, the client structure, how they behave, how they work, and what are their expectations. So we developed the system as well. The bank, they had an online banking platform that was used by retail banking and was very big. It's a very big bank on the retail side. And if you see the volumes we have in the private banking side, they're not as big. But we started in 2007 until 2011. The system was only available for these wealth intermediaries clients. So we can count what they call the family office. So it's a company that manages the wealth of a specific family or several families, what they call the multi-family office. What the proper wealth intermediaries, so the companies that will create a trust or structure to protect the client's wealth, or finally the clients that we call the independent asset managers. So these clients, they don't have rights to do payments from the client accounts. They only have rights to do investments. So we have to take all these different profiles in consideration when we develop the solution. So we did the system, we developed the system from scratch, thinking or having in mind these more complex relationships where you have sometimes 3 or 4 users managing 100 different portfolios, and each one of the users would have a different profile, different rights, different access levels. And then to validate transactions, you need to be able to have what they call the approval matrix. We need to replicate what the clients have on their contracts. Then they'll have like an A signature, B signature, and depending on the payment type and the amount for the payments, we may need up to 3 or 4 people validating a transaction before it's sent to be executed.
Very complex structure that you have to coordinate all these things. In your role, as I understand, today connects the clients, the bankers, the technology teams. Why this translation layer is so critical for ensuring these platforms actually deliver value?
Yeah, well, this is a situation where today, when you are, I work as part of the front office in the bank where I work. So I work as a support for the bankers. Every time they have a client with a special need or new prospect client that needs to be onboarded. They want me to sell our platform to the client. So have a meeting with the client, try to understand their needs. Then in these first meetings, I'm going to be meeting with like the CEO of the company, and we need to have like a business level conversation. But once we decide to go ahead, and very often they'll have their IT teams involved as well. So we need to understand if our offer will fit their needs from a commercial point of view, and as well is if we can integrate our system to their systems. And at the same time, I work with the IT teams to integrate, so I can speak the language of the CEO, like commercial, and I can go down to the IT level on the client side. And then once I'm back to the office, I need to talk to our IT team to do this liaison between the client and our IT and work to have everything together.
So in this role that you have in this complex client structures with multiple portfolios, users, permissions, high value transactions, how does this level of complexity influence the product decisions and platform architecture? I understand that you have a key role as part of this connection, right, with the different technology teams and in translating what the customer needs and evolution of the product, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So today, I'm proud to say we started with this online banking platform we're using today in Switzerland, where I'm based. But this bank where I work is a very large international bank, so we have presence in several different countries. The solution we developed in Switzerland with time has been chosen to become the European private banking solution across the group. So we have implemented the same system for the bank in Monaco. Dubai is using it as well. Channel Islands, so I have Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man. Part of the business in London is also using it, mostly the investment part. Ireland is using it since 2019. And now we're working to have it implemented in the new offices being opened in Singapore as well. So I work closely with the project teams, product owner. Now we have a proper product owner it's working for all these different business units. And I participate and validate everything that is developed. So yesterday we started the UAT for the May release. So we have all the tests we need to do and validate the fixes and the new features that are being developed. And then once it's done, before the go live, we need to contact the client. So the main client, some clients there have requested a specific functionality to be developed. So we need to contact these clients, show them what has been developed. Sometimes we need to organize a call with the client to understand if the functionality we're developing, it's exactly what the client is looking for. So this is very important. And the clients, they feel involved in what we're developing as well. And this is part of this private banking culture. Because if you're like a retail banking client or very large corporate bank, you are going to be just a number. And in Switzerland, the business is completely different. We have a personal relationship with all the clients. Not only, if the client needs something, they will not be calling in like a call center. They call you, and they're going to know who they're talking with, and you know who you're talking with in the other side. So we create this special relationship with the client. So it's more than a business relationship. It's a trust relationship.
Yeah. So you're touching on some of the questions I had on my next question, where I was trying to imagine that there are some cases where the solution are built, but by the time they are delivered, the client's needs have already changed and it's not very aligned with what they expected. So what are some examples of actions that your team have implemented on the projects to avoid this from happening?
Yeah, so private bank or banking, like a whole industry, it's a very, very traditional industry. So we have these online banks that are in the front of technology. They are pushing the boundaries of the online banking, online transaction, these trading platforms that are very, very quick and very modern. In our case, we need to use it's like in military. If you want, the technology we use must be proved, must be solid, must be safe. And the clients, they understand that. Sometimes, and depending on the client profile, we have clients who compare our solution to these online banks or these banks that are only digital banks. And they say, you're years behind. This bank can do this bank. I say, yeah, but we're not the same type of bank. In the bank I work, to become a client, you need to have at least a 5 million deposit to initiate the relationship. And these clients, most of them are very, very, very wealthy, and they invest their money with us. It's the money they don't need, they put aside. Of course, this money is protected. The money, of course, but banking secrecy in Switzerland changed a lot across the years. So this is something that must be demystified as well, because banking secrecy, you don't have like numbered accounts anymore. Since the subprime crisis in 2008, I mean, the system, the whole structure, the banking structure in Switzerland changed completely. There are no more undeclared accounts. Every account we have here, we have clients. 95% of our clients are not Swiss based. They are everywhere in the world. And the clients, they how to say, they are based everywhere. No, that's what I was saying. Clients, they come to us, they request some specific features sometimes, but we, as I said, we need to use proved technology, and the development we do in our side is not as fast as we would like. And sometimes you have a specific feature developed, and the development takes 6 months, 1 year, and then you need to test it, then you roll out. And we already had situations where for example, here in Switzerland a couple of years ago, and this is a typical example, the local currency is so strong that when you have a placement, the market was offering negative interests. So if you have an investment in Swiss francs, so your money is invested, you invest for a specific period, you receive less than you invested initially. And some clients had requested a feature or functionality that was called fiduciary placements. It's like a specific money market investments you can do. So you do a placement in cash in a specific currency. But when we delivered that to the clients, the market had moved. But for example, for Swiss franc placements, you had a negative interest rate. So the clients didn't want to use it anymore. So this is a typical case where we developed it, we invested on the feature, and now it changed. Clients are using it. But on the first 2 years where this feature was available, it was hard for me to explain to the management why the adoption of that feature was so low. But I mean, this happens.
Because of the macroeconomic situation in Switzerland.
Yes.
Interesting. And as you mentioned before, in private banking, trust is everything. So what makes the client trust the digital platform enough to execute these high-value transactions through it?
Yeah, private banking is a very, very, very special industry. It's like a luxury industry. The clients, as I said, they're very wealthy, and they have everything is based on relationship. So if you have a banker that is responsible for a client, that client's going to be his client, not the bank client. If this banker moves away, the client will move with him, because the banker in most of the cases is like someone that is part of the family. So they're invited to marriages, personal events on the family. So they are a member of the family for these clients.
Now, a lot of the trust then is built around the bank relationship person as well, not only the institution.
Yes. And when we started rolling out the online banking for private banking clients, the main blocking we had is we had to convince the banker that it was a good solution for their clients. Some of them, they were afraid of losing the relationship with the client. Say, but if the client can do the payment himself or the investment himself, he's not going to be calling me anymore. But then we showed them that why do you want your client calling you to know his account balance? I mean, if you don't need to talk to him about these like day-to-day activities, you can have more meaningful conversations with your client. You can talk about the future, about his investments, his legacy. And once you convince the banker that is a good solution, as the client trusts the bank will tell the client to use. So use it is going to be good for you, and the client will adopt it. So it's the biggest barrier we have are the bankers themselves. So then the clients, and this is also how to say, it's a generational situation as well. So we have some very, very, how to say, older clients that are very refractory to this kind of technology usage. And if you take the younger generation, some clients, they want to see our digital offer before opening an account with us. So it's completely different.
To see if it's easy to work with.
It is.
From a technology point of view.
Yes. And in most of the cases, we're winning business because of our platform, or thanks to our platform, because it's the way we designed it. We try to do something very clean, very, how to say, very, very easy to find everything you need. So the clients, they
intuitive,
very intuitive. The feedback, a very, very frequent feedback we receive from the clients, they say, I like the way your system looks, because it's easy to find everything we need, and everything we need is there. So it's good.
And through this time, the industry has gone through major changes in regulation. You're talking about 2008, talking about the negative interest rates, changes in compliance, transparency of the years, about the changes in identification of the class, clients, know your client. How these shifts influence the way the technology is built and adopted from what you have seen?
Yes, we had lots of regulatory changes. As I said, the industry evolved a lot. The Swiss banking secrecy for Swiss private banks we see in the movies, this doesn't exist anymore. Switzerland is a place where you have like the safety, a strong currency, the tradition, the experience of the bankers. That's why the clients are still looking for us. They're bringing the wealth to be managed in Switzerland. But as I said, you cannot have like an undeclared account anymore. So everything needs to be declared. You need to pay taxes on the money you have invested in Switzerland. So the technology evolved in a way that this helps the clients to keep in contact with the banker. So it's an extra communication channel. Also, the technology of the online banking platform replaced some older technologies. Well, when I moved from my previous bank, the last big project I was working on was to migrate the clients from telex, that they're still using telex, to send the contract notes for some transactions for a digital secured interface. And when I joined the bank where I'm working today, we used to receive orders by fax. No one else is using fax as well. So the systems are evolving, and compliance, legal, in the system, we need to have very, very strong filters to ensure that the clients are not doing payments to like a beneficiary who's blacklisted, and we're submitted to every regulatory changes. I mean, we have the US regulations that have a direct impact in what we do. We have the financial crime regulations, and everything needs to be under the system. So the clients, they have the freedom to do their transactions, but in the back, everything is monitored, everything is safe, and it protects the clients, and it, of course, protects the bank as well. So from misusage of the platform.
And looking ahead, what do you see or believe will define the next phase of modernization in financial institutions or private banking in particular, if you prefer, especially in balancing innovation, regulation, and client expectations?
Yes, the industry is moving fast. It's moving quickly. Every time we have like international unrest, like the war in the Middle East now, we have a shift on the way the clients see private bank. Even, I mean, we had clients moving the assets to Switzerland, clients that were based in that area that are trying to migrate from I mean, wealthy clients, they are very mobile, so they don't have very deep roots. They can move according, if there are changes on the taxes or changes on the security, like physical security in a specific place, these clients, they move from one day to another, they move, and these complex clients, the clients we have, these wealth intermediary companies, it's their specialty to assist these clients in doing this kind of moves and advise them on that as well. So the systems we develop, they need to be adapted, they need to be mobile, something that is quite new for us as well. For example, we launched mobile apps for the bank. So this is something that a retail bank is really, I mean, it's being used for almost 20 years, but mobile bank for us, it's something that we have been, the adoption took off like less than 5 years ago. So now the clients, they want to have the access to the transactions or on their pocket, on their phones. They want to use like the mobile phones to validate transactions and to do everything. So yeah, but the industry still have place to grow up and it needs to evolve.
Okay, so before we wrap up, André, I just would like to see if there is someone that you would like to recommend for the next episode on NT Talks. Could be a colleague, a friend, anyone you think would bring an interesting perspective for our conversations here at NT Talks.
When you asked me to think about it before this talk here, I had a few names in mind, but I had a discussion with a very close friend of mine who is Brazilian like me, who's living in Switzerland like me, but he's like a lawyer. that moved to Switzerland 20 years ago, a couple of years after me. He's originally from Porto Alegre in the south of Brazil. He moved to Switzerland to work in banking as well. He worked for several very large and traditional private banks here in Switzerland, but then he decided to go completely independent, and he formed one of the largest international communities in wealth planning. Say international communities, but with Brazilian lawyers and accountants. So his name is Alexandre Arregui, okay, and he have a very large presence online as well. He started like providing online training to lawyers and accountants on what wealth planning. So he had a method that he called was to protect and planify successions and protect the client wealth internationally, because this is something that in Brazil is still like very mystified. To have an account in Switzerland, normally you link this with corruption or negative things, but today it's everything but that. I mean, this is part of the past. We need to clean up this image, and this is his main work today. So he's trying to work and show the clients and prove to the clients that it's not like a safe haven like it used to be in the past. Today, Switzerland is a safe place to leave your money, because, I mean, even if your government knows you have the money here because it needs to be declared, they won't be able to touch it.
André, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for sharing your experience and perspective. Your journey shows that the digital transformation in financial services is not just about technology. It's a lot about understanding client reality, navigating the complexity, building trust at scale. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you, Marcelo, for the opportunity of talking about my past and the experiences I had here.
NT Consult. Great people coding the future.